everyone. Good morning. This is Market Fatafat, the show that we get you a comprehensive view of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Avan Dabash. Let's get straight to it then. The markets are holding out in the green. You've got the broader markets trailing the frontliners very flat, but 10,862 on the index. Let's get started. Our team of research analysts are waiting by. We also have Sameet Chavan joining in on the technicals. Well, first up, let's start off with the news coming in on metal stock Vedanta. And what exactly is the brokerage view as well? Mubina Silasen.
Well, a breather and a sigh of relief that Vedanta could now heave when it comes to its all-important and very contentious Tuticorin smelter. It's just step one, but still, the sentiment certainly is positive because the NGT has essentially overturned the Pollution Control Board's decision to shut down the Tuticorin smelter. They have, in fact, given 3 weeks for the Pollution Control Board to give a renewed order to restart the smelter. So that's a positive, and that's the reason why you're seeing Vedanta react positively. Remember, it's a 400,000 ton smelter contributing 30% of India's copper requirements, and of course not to mention almost 15% of Vedanta's top line. Still, Morgan Stanley has an equal weight stance. They do believe it's still a long drawn process. It could be some time before the smelter could restart, and they believe it could add 4% odd to the EBITDA of FY20 for Vedanta.
All right, and indeed it looks like the stock price as well is heaving a sigh of relief right now, 2.5% on Vedanta. Well, let's shift gears from metals to autos then, and Tata Motors own JLR. They, according to reports, plan to cut thousands of jobs, and they will be outlining measures next month as part of their 3-year cost-cutting program. In fact, they're going to announce it as part of their turnaround strategy, and they are looking to plan to deliver cost and their cash flow improvements of nearly £2.5 billion over the next 18 months. And for this, there are rumors or reports rather, suggesting that they are going to look at massive job cuts. There's also a possibility for them of the UK exiting the EU as well, and that's going to be a big threat for the company. So they're planning to axe nearly 5,000 jobs, and they have already, remember, shed nearly 1,000 roles at their Solihull plant. So this is going to come on the back of that. Well, let's move on. It's 3 large caps in a row, so now we're moving on to a banking name. And its guesses, well, yes, it's ICICI Bank. A lot of conviction being seen in this stock. A lot of experts have been betting on it. Where does it go from here? Is one too late to dip in?
Not really, Avan, but I believe on short-term charts, there's an inverse head and shoulder breakout for ICICI Bank. 354 is the breakout point, and now believe now that the stock should be on course for hitting a swing high. So I think at this rate, it's a very good buy. 375 is the target. Stop loss could be kept at 348.
Okay, watch out. That's a buy call. You can still look to enter into ICICI Bank. Target price 375. Well, finally, let's move on to a mid-cap name. That's Datamatics. We don't chat about this one often, but there's some demerging news. Vivek?
Well, that's right, Avan. In fact, if we're talking about Datamatics, mid-cap name, that's not really, we don't really speak about it too much in the market research space as well, and a mid-cap IT name. So what this company is actually doing is that one of its smaller arms is called the Lumina unit. What the company is doing at this point of time is that it's demerging this particular arm, and what they're saying is that in order to unlock value for shareholders and also to divest some non-core assets, they're going to separately list this particular unit. On the back of that, the stock is up almost 6% in the session today.
All right, that's something to keep an eye out on. Datamatics active in trade today. Well, so is BEML, by the way. That stock is quoting comfortably above the 800 mark. So that, let's talk a little bit more about volumes and F&O data.
Well, firstly, the stock Avan is breaching its resistance of 785. This is happening on back of strong volume. So this is a case of price volume breakout, where price is moving above resistance level, and it is backed by strong volumes. Volumes have already crossed last trading sessions volume in cash market, so you can understand if first 2.5 hours these volumes are there, so the action is quite packed. This is backed by formation of long position in future segments. So both from technical and from derivatives perspective, there are positive observations.
Okay, positive observations, positive move on the stock. That's really how the stock is shaping up right now. Reliance Industries, meantime, as well as flexing its muscles above the 1100 mark. You believe that there's more strength, Sameet, on the cards?
on this stock has been consolidating in a range since last few weeks. 3 days back, the stock managed to give a decent recovery from its lower level. So within this consolidation, it is showing some sign of strength. Now 1130 is the level to watch out for. Any move beyond 1130, we could see good positive momentum getting triggered in this particular counter. In that case, the stock can easily head towards its recent higher end of 1150, 1160.
Okay, keep an eye out on that stock. That's Reliance Industries, more strength being seen. Mubina, meantime, it's positive coming in for the likes of NTPC. Tell us a little bit about the news.
Well, it is the new CRC order that the street seems to be liking quite a bit. It is a sigh of relief again for the power sector. In fact, CLSA has actually come out with quite an optimistic note on this one. They are saying that the progressive tone of the draft regulation preserves the regulatory integrity. They believe it's a positive surprise and a big departure from its earlier approach. It's a great balancing act of maintaining a 15.5% ROE as well versus, that EPS of 6% for NTPC and 8% for Power Grid. And they believe that this new draft norm is going to be a positive for both NTPC as well as Power Grid, and hence you are seeing these stocks react in the green.
All right. Yes, indeed. That's a positive coming in, and as well CLSA saying that this is coming in as a positive for both NTPC and Power Grid. Meantime, let's check in on hospitality and what's going on with Hotel Leela, Vivek.
Hotel Leela, very well-known brand, but it's a debt-ridden company, and the company has, is almost forced to sell a lot of its quality assets to private equity firms. So today, what is actually happening? One of the newspapers has reported that Brookfield, is actually looking to buy one of the Leela hotels for 4,500 crore rupees. This will actually help the company pay its entire debt. The company has a debt of almost 3,800 crore rupees. On the back of that, the stock showing some amount of spark and up almost 4.7% in the session today.
Yes, indeed, 4.7% and counting. That's the take coming in on Hotel Leela. Meantime, let's just have a quick glance at quality as well, and no wonder the stock is locked in lower circuit. It's largely on account of an abysmal set of earnings that the company has delivered. In fact, it's been a loss in the quarter gone by at 950 crore rupees. You also have this coming in versus a profit of about 21 crores. Not just that, the revenues are at 351 crores, and that has come in significantly lower than the 1600 they delivered on a YOY basis. Well, at number 10, then it's Glenmark, and what levels is this one looking at, Siddharth?
Well, it's challenging its resistance of 690. It's quite close to those levels. We are seeing a decent strength in some of the pharma names today, Glenmark being one. And the other reason for stating, why the stock is in limelight is a decent built-up in future segment. And needless to mention, if stock is challenging its resistance, is up by 3% in the market, which is pretty okay. The positions which are getting added are long positions.
Okay, long positions being added. That's the latest coming in on the stock. Moving right on, then let's focus in on Max Financial as well. And that one's moved steadily from 432, smartly in trade, all the way up to 447. Kunal, do you believe that there's more momentum here? What levels are you keeping an eye out on?
So, for Max Financial Services, I think it's on the verge of a breakout of 200 DMA cluster of swing resistances as well, which is placed around this 450 mark. The stock has tried to test that 450 mark intraday, could not sustain it, but I believe there's a second attempt, or the stock closes about this 450 mark. This breakout could sustain for Max Financial, and that 2 month or 3 month of prolonged consolidation should get over. So Max Financial is a interesting bet at current levels, or maybe above 450 for a buy. Targets of 475 plus, and stop loss could be kept at 440 odd.
All right, that's important to watch out for. The take on Max Financial sitting pretty at 446. Meantime, Biocon as well is in focus, and it's been positive news, although the stock is not reacting. Mubina, take us through the details.
Okay, well, it started off with positive news, but, and then we did, of course, have my colleague Vivek Iyer talking about some negative news for Biocon. So, yes, while one of their API facilities in Telangana did get the green chit from the US FDA, there was some not so great news as well, and that is with respect to the US FDA approving Celatrion as well as Teva Herzuma, a biosimilar trastuzumab, referencing Herceptin for the treatment of breast cancer. Remember that back in 2017, Biocon and Mylan had earlier received approvals for trastuzumab. It's something now that even Teva has received. So essentially competition is hotting up in this drug, and it was a key drug for Biocon. So naturally it is something that the street would not take too kindly to, and hence you are seeing the stock come up quite sharply from the day's high.
Okay, so mixed basket of news coming in, but nonetheless that stock is in focus. Moving right on then, so is L&T, and that stock is in news, Vivek, today. Why?
That's right, a whole host of news, a lot of analysis, a lot of reports coming in as far as L&T is concerned. But today, what has incrementally happened as far as this particular company is concerned is that the Mumbai authority has actually gone ahead and terminated the monorail contract that it had with the joint venture that it had along with L&T. Slightly negative news flow coming in there, but a lot of brokerage notes have come in over the weekend where they're saying that concerns over the order inflow guidance is something that's been over, and at this point of time they believe L&T is well poised to go ahead and win a lot of order wins once the uncertainty over the elections is done, and which is why most of the brokerages still have quite a positive stance as far as L&T is concerned.
All right, lots going on with the company. 1421, that's where the stock is just about finding its feet. Tell you what, on that note, let's slip into a quick break. Come right back as the countdown continues. This is Market Fatafat. Great to have you back with us. This is Market Fatafat. Let's keep it with all the stocks that are buzzing away this Monday morning. Aditya Birla Fashion merits a mention because it's on the brokerage radar. In fact, Jefferies is quite upbeat on this stock and they maintain a buy. They've got a target price, in fact, of 235. They believe that there's improved execution as well as growth tailwinds in the sector as a whole, and the company stands to benefit from the same. Not just that, there's also strong demand traction that's been seen in the last 15 months, and this is a good opportunity. And they also know that the management is fairly bullish on the Madura, as on both Madura and Pantaloons, which is why there is strong growth potential. The stock price, though, isn't quite obliging, laying low as we speak. It's sub the 200 mark, just at 199. Reliance Infrastructure, meantime, so that's talking about a stock from the ADAG pocket and cooling its heels. But what's the take today, Siddharth?
Well, adding bit politics to it, Friday stock did pretty well for itself because of the Supreme Court verdict on Rafale deal, and most of the ADAG group stocks were doing well, and then there was an intraday correction. Today we are seeing that stock is again trying to move towards its support zone, which is around 280, and 280, mind you, one is a strong support, but we are seeing formation of short positions today. Today market is doing pretty okay for itself. If a stock which was doing so well in Friday's trading session, there is no reason for stock to be down today. So that means the medium-term trend or a short-term trend which was negative is still intact, and watch out for that level of 280. The positions which are getting added, I'm not saying these are long or short, but they are getting added with stock under pressure. If 280 goes, then you are opening further downside for the stock.
All right, that's certainly something to keep an eye out on. Reliance Infrastructure sure has been the cynosure of all eyes this last week. Raymond, meantime, is a stock to watch out for today. Sameet, take us through why you think it's a buy candidate.
See, Avan, since mid-October, we have been quite upbeat on this stock ever since the stock, formed the bullish hammer pattern around its 200 weekly moving average. And since then, we have been upbeat and we have been, revising our targets as it gives a fresh breakout. Last week, after a consolidation of nearly 2 to 3 months, the stock finally managed to give a breakout from its multi-month resistance zone. Hence, the last 2 days consolidation we are interpreting as a good buying opportunity. Yes, stock is struggling around 200-day moving average, but quite soon we expect the stock to surpass this hurdle and move towards our immediate target of 934, and hence it's a good buy with a stop loss of 828.
All right, that's a buy candidate and stop loss at 828, but nonetheless watch out for levels of 900 plus on the stock. Meantime, Mubina, let's talk about another pharma stock, and that is Aurobindo. Why is it buzzing today?
Well, the US FDA completed the audit of Aurobindo Pharma's Unit 4 facility, and it has received a Form 483 with 2 observations. Remember that we at TT were the first to talk about, report about the US FDA inspections itself at Unit 4. Remember, the facility got inspected last in Feb 2018. After that, they got an EIR. And by the way, Unit 4 is the key injectables facility for Aurobindo. It accounts for about more than 30 of the total pending injectable ANDA, so it's a critical plant. However, 2 observations at this point of time. Stock still just about holding out.
Watch out, that's the take coming in on Aurobindo. 2 observations for their Unit 4. Meantime, let's dial into telecom, and Vodafone Idea is in focus. What exactly is the news when it comes to the spectrum auction? Vivek, fill us in.
Well, it's been a very interesting update as far as Vodafone Idea is concerned. What Vodafone Idea has actually done is they've gone to the regulator and they've actually said at this point of time India doesn't need any fresh spectrum. They're actually saying at this point of time you can actually hold off spectrum sales up till 2020. They believe that the 5G rollout that has been done as well as the 4G rollout at this point of time is more than enough to actually keep up to whatever is the requirement as far as telecom waves are concerned. And interesting because of the fact that Vodafone Idea at this point of time is not really very well capitalized. In fact, it's expecting capital from its parent company Grasim. However, Vodafone Idea at this point of time is seeing a slight relief rally and doing reasonably well, almost 0.3% higher in the session today.
At 36.3, there you have it, Vodafone Idea. Meantime, Jet Airways is a stock that's undergoing some rough weather yet again, because reports indicate that the turnaround man, or Nikos Kardasis, the former CEO of Jet Airways, who made a comeback into the carrier in an advisory role and has been tasked to turn around the cash-strapped airline, has once again parted ways with it. We understand that this is his 3rd comeback to the aviation company, and he was roped in to revive the fortunes, but due to the abysmal financial performance that we've seen, and as of now we understand that he has gone on leave to his native place, but after that he has not returned. That is what reports seem to indicate, and this is making investors pretty nervous. He was known as the turnaround man, as I said, and no wonder the stock is down 3% plus. Moving on then, let's check in on number 20, and that is Power Grid. Let's talk a little bit about the price action as well as volume, Siddharth.
Well, firstly, volumes are substantially very high, and that's the reason we are talking about Power Grid, 3% up for the stock. Now, Avan, in last 2 months, stock has been correcting. Not a huge correction, but then we have seen up days, down days. Overall trend has been down. After today's gap up opening, I understand there is an intraday correction after significant gap up opening. The short-term trend seemed to be changed, and this, backed by strong volumes, indicates that this change is here to stay.
All right, that's the view coming in. On that note, thanks very much, guys, for joining in and giving us that view on all the stocks to watch out for. All right, and with that, we come to an end of this leg of the show. Thanks so much for watching. Markets at noon, that's coming up after a short commercial break.